All right, everybody, welcome back. We are continuing our discussion about kind of the legal aspects of digital forensics and cyber investigations. And in this third subsection, we're going to talk about expert testimony, right? Uh, what science, what digital forensics techniques are allowed to be used in court by experts to testify about the whether the defendant is guilty or not guilty. Well, back in 1923, there was a court case where they established the Fry test or the Fry standard, right? And basically, what the Supreme Court said in that case is that scientific evidence is admissible as expert testimony as long as that scientific evidence has reached general acceptance in the field, right? So, in other words, if you're a scientist and you want to come in and testify about this fancy schmancy new technique you used, it won't be allowed in court up until the point where it has reached general acceptance among your peers, among that particular scientific community. Now, this is no longer in use at the federal level, but there are still some states that use this Fry standard as the standard of whether some testimony is going to be allowed in court cases or not. So if you're in state court and you want to testify as to some digital forensics technique, look up and see whether they still use this Fry test or not. Now, 1975, the Fry test was kind of expanded through the Federal Rule of Evidence 702. And Federal Rule of Evidence 702 kind of expanded on what that whole general acceptance thing means, how exactly judges are supposed to determine whether something has reached general acceptance or not. And that is based on a few different things, including has it been tested? Have there been relevant scientific publications? Is there a known error rate? And what is that? And has that, then reached that level of acceptance? But all those things factor into whether scientific testimony is going to be allowed or not. And again, this is a federal rule of evidence, but a lot of states have also adopted this rule. And it was further expanded, and kind of the most important controlling Supreme Court case about scientific expert testimony at this point in time, again, as of time of recording, is this case, and I don't know how to pronounce this word. This is one of those words I've only ever read. I've never actually heard anybody who knows what they're talking about I've never heard anybody who knows what they're talking about pronounce this word out loud. So is it Dobert or Dobert? Daubert? I think it's Dobert, but I'm not sure, but that's what I'm going to use. So Dobert versus Merrill Dow Pharmaceuticals. Again, 1993 Supreme Court case. And basically, the rule that came out of this court case is that if either the prosecution or the defense wants to call in a scientific expert to testify about something, there has to be a Dobert hearing, not in front of a jury, where the judge gets to kind of question this expert and determine whether they're actually an expert, whether the science they're going to talk about actually is sound, and whether it's going to help the trier of fact, i.e. the jury, determine whether that defendant is guilty or not guilty, right? And this is not just kind of direct evidence. This is not just lab reports. This is not just, physical items needing to be entered into the record. But this goes to expert reasoning, i.e., I believe the person is guilty because I found this and this and this, and qualifications, right? Now, specifically when it comes to digital forensics, there is no hard and set rule for what makes you an expert under this Dober standard in digital forensics. There's no required, you have to have this certification, you have to have this degree, you have to have this. It really is up to the judge as the gatekeeper, as the person who gets to decide whether you're an expert or not. If you can convince the judge that you're an expert, you're an expert. And they will allow your testimony in court. That said, certifications are always a good thing. They will never hurt you, right? So if you want to become a digital forensics practitioner, I would highly recommend you get as many certifications as possible. General certifications, software-specific certifications, get as many as you can. That will not only help you when it comes time to testify in court, but it will also help you find a job. So go out there, find some certifications. A lot of them are free. Some of them cost some money. Some of them cost a lot of money. But certifications are great, and the more prestigious that certification is, the better. But there is no one hard and fast certification that says, like, if you're going to testify in a court case as a digital forensics examiner, you have to have this particular license, this particular certification, whatever. That doesn't exist. But again, get as many as you can. So the short version of this is that scientific experts are whoever the judge says they are. And it's up to the judge to determine whether both the person is an expert, whether their testimony is scientifically accurate, et cetera, et cetera. We put a lot of trust in the judge for a lot of these kind of situations. All right, that's the end of this section. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it.